Coming up, tasty treats, treasured traditions, and terrific tunes. All tonight as the Chronicle goes home for the holidays. Welcome, friends of the Covenant Chronicle's first ever special edition, Home for the Holidays. First up tonight, we whip up some tasty treats for your holiday guests as we visit with Gina and David Lobel.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our kitchen. With Christmas and New Year's rapidly approaching, we are all trying to put a little sparkle in this year's festivities. COVID has taken some of the luster out of our lives, but that's no reason to not ring in Christmas and New Year's and be grateful for all that God has given us. So as we are preparing our appetizers for our holiday festivities, think about pairing sparkling wine at your next gathering. Many of the appetizers that we make pair extremely well with sparkling wine. Sparkling wines provide a flavor profile to suit almost anyone's palate. They can be dry, off-dry, semi-sweet, or sweet. So there is something for everyone. These wines come from all over the world. French champagne, Spanish cava, California sparkling wine, Italian prosecco, as well as many other countries around the world. So there is surely something to suit everyone's palate. This morning, Gina is making salmon mousse on cucumber slices, which pair nicely with any of these choices when it comes to sparkling wine. Gina, take it away.
We've all been there, haven't we? The neighbor or relative, a friend calls and says, "We'll be over in about 10 minutes. We've got a Christmas present for you." So now what? Well, one thing, always keep cream cheese in your refrigerator. It's a very versatile ingredient. It's kind of like the basic black dress that you can do a lot of things with. Second of all, always put on an apron. Just like Mr. Rogers, it puts you in the mood, keeps your clothes from getting that last minute splash, and also makes your guests realize you've worked really hard at what you're going to prepare for them. So today, as Dave said, we're making cucumber slices with salmon mousse. I usually use an English cucumber because they're seedless and you can get some very uniform slices with them. Then we have smoked salmon, softened cream cheese with the emphasis on softened because you want to make it really fast, lemon juice, heavy cream, and a variety of spices. I use fresh dill, but alternatively you could use dried dill weed and some onion powder, garlic powder, and maybe a little pepper if that's what you like. So I'm going to show you how quickly I can put this together. So first we're going to put in our cream cheese into our food processor. Now you're panicking because you don't have a food processor. Well, you can use a bowl with a fork. Just make sure that everything is mixed thoroughly and it's very smooth, because what we're going to do at the end is we're going to pipe it onto our cucumber rounds. Now I've fitted a Ziploc plastic bag with a decorative tip, but alternatively you can just snip off the end and it still will give you something to pipe onto your cucumber slices. Saves time by putting things directly onto your serving plate. Now I always keep these little cheap things that I get from the dollar store and little doilies. So for a couple of dollars, you have something that looks very festive. So we're going to put the cream cheese in there and probably about half of this salmon. It depends on how much you like salmon and how strong that you want the flavor to be. So we're going to do that. Put our little bit of lemon juice in here. And I always like to use vintage things. This was my husband's grandmother's lemon reamer, so it makes me connect with my past. Lemon juice, about a tablespoon. We're going to chop up our dill. Always helps to have a good knife and a dog whose nose is right behind you. Right, a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of onion powder, and if you like, a little bit of fresh ground pepper. All right, now we're going to whirl this around for a little bit. We're going to add a little bit of our cream, a little bit at a time, because we don't want this too wet or it's not going to stay on our cucumber. All right, now you can see that this is really nice and smooth in here. Now we're going to cut our cucumber slices. And I'm doing this all in front of you so you realize that it's no hocus pocus, that it takes a lot longer than what I'm showing you. All right, now we're going to scoop this into our pastry bag, aka our Ziploc bag. Zip it closed. It's messy, but, and then we're just gonna pipe it onto our cucumber slice. See why you need to have it smooth. And then we're just going to put a little tiny bit of dill on each cucumber slice just to make it look pretty. Okay, and if you like, you can also, so then people know what's in it, put a little tiny bit of salmon on each one to make it look a little more festive. And then if people don't like salmon, they know that they should stay away from that. So voila. Back to you, Dave.
Well, as you can see, this was just one simple appetizer that you can make for the holiday season. But some other suggestions that also pair nicely with sparkling wines would be a roasted tomato bruschetta, fried spring rolls, seafoods like oysters, clams, salmon, smoked whitefish. Cheeses, for example, creamy brie, baby Swiss, Reggiano Parmesan. These foods can be incorporated into your recipes or eaten on their own. These are just a few examples, but always remember, when it comes to the holidays and it comes to your taste, drink what you like. I hope this helps you think of other ideas when it comes to food and wine options for your Christmas and New Year's celebrations. If you'd like to know more about sparkling wine or just wine in general, please feel free to contact me. I enjoy taking the mystery out of wine so you can enhance your eating experience. To everyone, a Merry Christmas and a happy and healthy New Year. Bon appetit!
Thanks, folks. Some perfect holiday snacks. We'll be back after this. We journey now to the town of Zelienople in the southwest part of Butler County, where we explore holiday traditions at the Silbert Nucci homestead.
Well, hi. Welcome to the Silbert Nucci house on West Beaver Street in downtown Zelienople, and we want to share with you some Christmas traditions at our house. The first one we're going to talk about is the over-the-door fruit arrangement display that I grew up with as a kid, and we've brought it over here. Okay, so let's go.
Merry Christmas.
One of the traditions that I grew up with is the Williamsburg decorating tradition. My mother was a big fan of the Williamsburg decorating. If you've ever been there, it's a beautiful colonial or pre-colonial setting in Virginia. They do some marvelous decorating in their houses and outside their houses. This is one of them. You see that fan wing? Well, I grew up with that, and when we came here, you saw that arch over the front door. So that's what I did, and there's a slide of that that you'll be seeing in a moment of that original one that we did for over here. But anyway, this is one of those traditions. So we're going to kind of show you what that looks like, kind of. Okay, so the first thing is the board. It is a large board that we put nails into. And if you can see, there's a lot of staple holes in there from all the other times we've put some of the fruit and whatnot in. So this is the start. That'll go up over the door eventually. All right. Then, once we put that board in place, we take magnolia leaves. And I've got a person who is able to get me magnolia leaves. And they are just gorgeous to work with. I shoot them with a urethane finish so that they're glossy. They keep a little longer. I will take each of these leaves and I will break them off and I will attach them then to that wooden board, making a big fan, all right? Once that's all set, and I do that on a pair of sawhorses, I then take it, mount the board, then we build. So, first things first, always first is the great sign of hospitality, the pineapple. And that goes center in the bottom, but it's right there. That's the first thing. And then we go from there building all kinds of fruit. And so we'll do two pomegranates. You know what? I'm going to do this first. We're going to do this. So we'll have pomegranates on each side. You'll see that on quite a few of the slides that you're going to be seeing, okay? Then we do rows of various kinds of fruits. Red delicious apples, big green apples, maybe lemons, maybe even oranges. But anyway, we load up that board so we now have a balanced display. But it isn't finished yet. We then take a series of greens, various kinds of greens. Typically, Williamsburg is fond of boxwood. That's boxwood. This is juniper. You can see the little berries on that too. And cedar. And we take these in, some more pine, thank you. Various kinds of pine, white pine and hemlock, I think. Anyway, we take all these things and we start to put them in and build the green surround with all the fruit. And voila, we have our finished fan over the door. Put some lights on it at nighttime. We also do one for the side. It's a small rectangular one. You'll see pictures of that too. And simply, whatever we're working with that year is what's going to be on that board in a smaller version. And that'll be on the side of the house, which is out this way. So that's one of the traditions we have here at 201 West Beaver Street that I bring from my family all those years growing up. Thank you.
tradition, which is, I think, part of a lot of folks' traditions, is, of course, to have the manger scene, which we love. And we have kind of a fun story behind our manger scene, because before we were married, they had this long hunt for a shepherd, because we ended up with a manger scene that did not have a shepherd. And then, of course, when we found one, and now we have like multiple shepherds because we had to buy a number of them, but there's only one here. It was just a fun thing that we had on the manger search for the shepherd. But we love this scene. It it is what Christmas is about. So it's just a vital part of it all, to have it all together. I have a card that was sent to us from my parents, and it's about St. Francis, and it talks about that St. Francis actually is the one who called it a crèche, and that's the French word for cradle. And Francis created the first crèche using real people, a real manger, a real ox, an ass, and real shepherds. So there's a little bit of trivia for you. In 1223, and the Franciscan brothers came to the new Bethlehem to do this, to put this first crèche together. So that's pretty exciting. And I also love to see the crèche in downtown Pittsburgh. If anyone's gone to, I think it's no, it's not One Oxford, Mellon, around the Mellon Center. There's a beautiful crèche there. That is actually a reproduction of the one from the Vatican. So that's an interesting thing. If you're in downtown Pittsburgh, check out the crèche. Also, I want to just point out that my kids gave this to me. It's a really neat glass work that I love to keep. Again, this is here all year round, but I love to keep it here for the manger scene, because I feel like it has that natural look about it. So there's our manger scene.
A lot of us have trees decorated for Christmas, and we're no exception. We have, each year, we try to put up as many ornaments as we can, but also have to cut the limit because there's not enough tree to go around. Anyway, a couple of favorites of mine, and maybe Elaine has a couple too, but a couple of favorites of mine. I'm a dog fancier, and I raised black labs. I had 2 precious black labs in my adult years, and so we have this black lab holding forth right here. And he has an honored place, just as a reminder of Labrador retrievers. Then my brother and I, of course, we grew up in August on Squam Lake, New Hampshire, and it's renowned for being a great place to go boating and fishing and water skiing and all that. One year, my brother gave me this. It is a replica of one of those wonderful Chris Craft mahogany inboards right there, and he actually even penciled in one of my nicknames that he gave me, the J-Bean. So I really love this ornament from my brother, and it is a reminder of Squam Lake. So we'll put him back. I think I can find the place where he was before, and I had the J-Bean hanging out. So let me do that. And then one other one that I'd like to point out is, and this came from my, it's a family ornament. In my dad's church, where he grew up, Mount Airy Presbyterian Church in Germantown, section of Philadelphia, they had a cradle roll. And every time a new child was born into the congregation, was baptized, they received a sheep, a lamb that was posted on a board. And right inside the door as you came in, there was a huge cradle roll. And who knows, this may have been my dad's at some point, signifying his birth, but I love it because there is a bit of wonder to it. It's almost as if that sheep is looking up into the stars, right? hearing that angelic choir and also doing his own kind of wondering as well. So some really special ornaments in my family life. Elaine, do you have a couple?
Sure, and I'm going to go up a couple steps because mine are up higher. I just realized that. So John started with dogs. I'm going to continue with dogs. I had a little English Cocker Spaniel named Chester, and this makes me think of little Chetty. He's now an angel dog. So there's a couple little Chettys up there. And another one reminds me of my son because it's very funny. It's a dolphin with a Santa hat, and it's just sort of like makes me think of him because he's got such a great sense of humor, and we've spent a lot of time at the beach. My parents had a place in Ocean Isle, North Carolina, so that makes me think of him. And there are musical instruments all over here, which makes me think of my daughter who's a musician and my son who plays music as well. And then this one, it reminds me of a very special day. It's kind of hard to see it. It is Frank Lloyd Wright, and it reminds me of a very special day that John and I had at Falling Water. So I love that. And of course there are so many, too many to mention from great friends and
I've got another
family. Okay.
When my youngest daughter, Hannah, was a member of a church youth group out in Murraysville, they made a whole series of ornaments that they actually were selling. I didn't have to get one. It was that was given to me. And what they did is they took these clear bulbs, they put in some sprinkles and whatnot, and then put in a saying. And I really like this. There's a picture of a tree branching out, right, inside this bubble. And it says, branch out, pop the bubble. And I kind of like that. And in a community where things can get out of hand and or get drawn into different places, but the point is to break out of the bubble we all get stuck into sometimes and experience a greater world. So we like that one too.
And then one of my favorites too. So this is from my grandmother, and it's right in the middle of the tree. I put it there on purpose because it's what it's all about. It's Mary and baby Jesus. So thank you, Grandma Falbo.
Okay, you'll start.
Thank you for being with us this Christmas.
And as we leave, we want to leave with the Advent wreath. It has one candle lighted because we're in that first week of Advent, which is the week of hope as we tape this. And we thank Brian for coming in to be with us today. But we see that there are other candles waiting. And that's what we're doing. We're waiting for our Lord Jesus to come again. And so we have hope. We are enjoying peace, joy, that pink candle, joy, and love. And of course, the center candle is the Christ candle. And so as we leave, we want to wish you a very, very happy Advent and a blessed and Merry Christmas. Take care.
Great ways to help celebrate the season from John and Elaine. We'd love to hear about your holiday traditions. Leave us a comment below our video on YouTube. There's more to come. Stay tuned. We end the show tonight with another holiday tradition from the days of yore. Folks that had a piano in their parlor would invite friends over, gather around, and sing their favorite Christmas carols. Tonight, we do that for you.
Singing o'er the plains and the mountains. Now we would like to do for you, It Came Upon a Midnight Clear.
We hope you enjoyed tonight's Home for the Holidays special from the Covenant Chronicle. From the Covenant campus in downtown Butler, remember, every day is a blessed day. We'll see you next time. Merry Christmas, everyone.
For as the curse is on